Jay Feely with us for a couple of minutes. Have you taken much time through all this to look at the draft next week? And if so, do you have some thoughts on what is most intriguing to you about next week?
Well, specifically from a Cardinals perspective, I think everything changed when they went and got D-Hop and they were able to bring him in and trade for him because you thought they'd take one of the receivers early on if one of the top receivers fell to them. Now, they still could do that if one of the right guys falls, but it gives them a lot more flexibility. And they certainly could go and get a tackle if a tackle's available, get one of the receivers. There's so many high-end defensive linemen as well. When you talk about intrigue in the draft, it all starts with a quarterback. And you look at the top three quarterbacks, and Tua is really the wild card, and the inability of teams to be able to go out, to work him out, to see if he's healthy, for them to have their doctors look at him and put him through tests. So there's so much uncertainty that surrounds somebody who's so talented and had such a great college career, and yet you don't know if that's going to translate, how it's going to translate. And so, you have Herbert, you have Tua, and you have Joe Burrow, you think is going to go number one for sure to Cincinnati. And those three quarterbacks are probably going to dictate how the first half of the draft goes.
If you're sitting in a general manager's chair and you look at Tua, which way do you go with him, Jay? Is it one of those, boy, I saw what he did on the field, you can't deny that, or I saw the injury and it's only 6 months later?
To me, as a general manager, if you don't have the quarterback position fixed, then your team isn't fixed. You have to have an answer at that position to succeed and compete in the NFL. And so it doesn't matter how many times you try to fix the problem, you keep doing it until you have the answer. So if you don't have your quarterback of the future, take Tua. Hope he's healthy. Hope he can do it and he can show you exactly what he did at Alabama. You saw his ability as a freshman to step in to the biggest moment possible, coming in the second half of the national championship game and leading his team to victory. You know that he can perform in those big moments. You hope that he's healthy and that health will translate to the future. I wouldn't allow that to deter me from taking him if I don't have that quarterback position fixed on my team, because you have to answer that question. I don't care if you draft a guy this year and then you go get somebody next year. Until that position is fixed, continue to try and fix it.
When you look at number 8 in the draft, what should the Cardinals do? There's lots of options. You could trade back if you want. You could trade up if you want. You got a guy on the board. You're the GM. What does Jay Feely do at number 8?
I'm always a big advocate of trading back because first-round picks in general are 50% success, 50% failure. So you don't know, even if you're drafting at 8, if you're drafting at 5, if you're drafting at 25, you don't know if you're going to succeed in those picks. So the more picks you can pick up, if one of those quarterback falls and you're sitting there at 8 and there's one of those 3 quarterbacks available and teams want him and you don't need to have a quarterback, obviously, with the Cardinals with Kyler Murray, trade back.